Silent ways to command respect. Stoic wisdom for inner authority. Have you ever wondered why some people naturally command respect without saying much? In today's world, true authority doesn't come from being the loudest voice in the room, but from the quiet confidence that speaks volumes through actions. Today, we'll explore the profound Stoic principles that will teach you how to earn genuine respect through silent strength, inner discipline, and unwavering character. Throughout history, the greatest Stoic philosophers understood that respect isn't demanded. It's earned through consistent virtue and authentic presence. When you master these silent ways of commanding respect, you'll discover that people naturally gravitate toward your wisdom, seek your counsel, and value your opinion without you ever having to ask for it. But before we dive into these powerful strategies, let me share a story that perfectly illustrates the essence of what we're about to explore. In ancient Rome, there lived a senator named Marcus, known not for his eloquent speeches or grand gestures, but for his unwavering principles and quiet strength. While other senators fought loudly for attention, Marcus would sit calmly, observing, listening, and speaking only when his words carried weight. His colleagues noticed that when Marcus finally spoke, the entire Senate fell silent. His quiet authority commanded more respect than all the shouting and political maneuvering combined. One day, during a heated debate about military funding, emotions ran high and voices grew louder. As senators hurled accusations and threats, Marcus remained seated, his face calm and thoughtful. Finally, when the chaos reached its peak, he slowly stood up. Without raising his voice or making grand gestures, he simply said, "Gentlemen, our strength lies not in the volume of our words, but in the wisdom of our choices." His quiet authority immediately shifted the entire dynamic of the room. What Marcus understood, and what the Stoics have taught for centuries, is that true power comes from within. It's not about dominating others or proving your worth through loud displays. It's about cultivating such genuine strength of character that respect becomes inevitable. Today, I'll share with you 8 silent ways to command this same type of respect, using timeless Stoic wisdom that has guided leaders and thinkers for over 2 millennia. These aren't manipulation tactics or quick fixes. They're profound principles that will transform how others see you and, more importantly, how you see yourself. Before we begin, if you find this content valuable, I encourage you to subscribe and activate notifications to stay updated with our latest insights. Now, let's explore these transformative principles. Chapter 1. The Power of Silence. The first and perhaps most powerful way to command respect is through the strategic use of silence. In our noisy world, silence has become a rare and precious commodity. While others rush to fill every pause with words, the person who masters silence holds a unique advantage. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." This wisdom applies beautifully to our modern tendency to respond immediately to every provocation, every criticism, every attempt to draw us into unnecessary conflict. When you remain silent in the face of aggression or ignorance, you demonstrate a level of self-control that commands immediate respect. Think about it. When someone attacks you verbally, they expect a reaction. They want you to get defensive, to argue, to justify yourself. But what happens when you simply remain silent? The attacker is left with their own words echoing in the void, often realizing how petty or inappropriate their behavior appears. This doesn't mean becoming passive or doormat-like. Strategic silence is active, conscious, and purposeful. It's choosing not to engage with negativity, not because you can't respond, but because you're strong enough not to. This type of silence communicates confidence, wisdom, and inner peace, qualities that naturally command respect. Consider how powerful silence can be in professional settings. When someone makes an unreasonable demand or speaks inappropriately in a meeting, your calm silence often speaks louder than any verbal response. Colleagues notice your composure and begin to see you as someone who operates above petty workplace drama. In personal relationships, silence can prevent unnecessary escalation of conflicts. Instead of engaging in heated arguments that go nowhere, strategic silence allows emotions to cool and create space for more productive conversations later. The key is learning when to speak and when to remain silent. Epictetus taught us that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. We should listen twice as much as we speak. When you do choose to break your silence, your words carry far more weight because people know you don't speak carelessly. Practice this. The next time someone tries to provoke you or draw you into unnecessary drama, pause. Take a deep breath. Consider whether responding will add value to the situation or simply perpetuate negativity. More often than not, you'll find that silence is the more powerful choice. Chapter 2. Unshakable consistency. The second way to command respect silently is through unshakable consistency. People respect those they can count on, those whose character remains steady regardless of circumstances. This consistency isn't about being rigid or inflexible. It's about having core principles that guide your behavior regardless of external pressures. Seneca believed that wisdom is demonstrated through consistent action over time. It's easy to act virtuously when things are going well, but true character is revealed when faced with adversity, temptation, or pressure to compromise your values. Consider someone in your life whom you deeply respect. I guarantee that consistency plays a major role in your admiration for them. They show up when they say they will. They treat people with the same level of respect, whether those people can help them or not. They maintain their standards even when no one is watching. This consistency builds trust, and trust is the foundation of respect. When people know what to expect from you, when they can rely on your word and count on your character, they naturally begin to respect you more deeply. Consistency in small things leads to respect in big things. If you're consistently punctual, people will trust you with important deadlines. If you're consistently honest in minor matters, people will believe you when it really counts. If you're consistently kind to those who can't help you, people will see your character as genuine rather than strategic. The Stoics practice this through daily reflection and self-examination. Each evening, they would review their actions, noting where they lived up to their principles and where they fell short. This practice helped them maintain consistency by making them more aware of the gap between their ideals and their actions. Your consistency should be visible in how you treat service workers, how you handle stress, how you respond to success and failure, and how you interact with people regardless of their status or usefulness to you. This consistent character becomes your reputation, and a good reputation commands respect without you having to ask for it. Start by identifying your core values, perhaps integrity, kindness, courage, and wisdom. Then commit to expressing these values consistently in all areas of your life. When faced with decisions, ask yourself, what would the most consistent version of myself do? This question will guide you toward choices that build respect over time. Chapter 3. Authentic self-knowledge. The third path to silent respect is developing authentic self-knowledge. The Stoics believed that know thyself was the foundation of all wisdom, and people instinctively respect those who understand their own strengths, weaknesses, and motivations without pretense or self-deception. Marcus Aurelius spent considerable time in self-reflection, writing in his personal journal, which became the Meditations, about his own flaws, fears, and aspirations. This wasn't self-flagellation or excessive self-criticism. It was honest self-assessment that allowed him to lead more effectively and command genuine respect from his subjects. When you truly know yourself, several powerful things happen. First, you stop pretending to be something you're not, which eliminates the exhausting effort of maintaining false personas. Second, You become more confident because you're not constantly worried about being found out. Third, you can admit your mistakes and limitations without feeling threatened, which paradoxically makes you appear stronger, not weaker. People can sense authenticity. In our age of social media personas and professional facades, authenticity has become increasingly rare and valuable. When someone encounters a person who is genuinely comfortable with who they are, including their imperfections, it's refreshing and commands respect. This self-knowledge allows you to take criticism without defensiveness and praise without arrogance. You know your true capabilities and limitations, so external opinions don't destabilize your sense of self. This emotional stability is magnetic. People are drawn to those who seem unshakable in their self-understanding. Authentic self-knowledge also means understanding your emotional patterns, triggers, and reactions. When you know what situations typically cause you stress or anger, you can prepare for them and respond more thoughtfully. This emotional intelligence naturally commands respect because others see you as someone who has mastered themselves. The practice begins with honest self-examination. Ask yourself difficult questions. What are your real motivations? Where do you often fall short of your ideals? What fears drive your behavior? What do you genuinely value versus what you think you should value? Keep a daily journal where you reflect on your actions, decisions, and reactions. Notice patterns, celebrate growth, acknowledge setbacks without harsh self-judgment. This practice of self-awareness will gradually build the authentic confidence that commands respect without demanding it. Chapter 4. The Grace of Emotional Regulation. The fourth way to silently command respect is through masterful emotional regulation. In a world where people often react impulsively to every frustration, disappointment, or provocation, the person who maintains emotional equilibrium stands out dramatically. The Stoics understood that while we cannot control external events, we have complete authority over our responses. Epictetus taught that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This philosophy, when practiced consistently, creates an aura of calm strength that naturally commands respect. Consider how you feel about people who remain calm under pressure versus those who explode at the slightest provocation. The calm person appears stronger, more reliable, and more trustworthy. Their emotional stability suggests wisdom, maturity, and inner strength, all qualities that earn respect. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions or becoming cold and unfeeling. Emotional regulation is about experiencing emotions fully while choosing your responses consciously. You can feel anger without acting angrily. You can experience disappointment without becoming bitter. You can face criticism without becoming defensive. When you master emotional regulation, several things happen. People begin to see you as someone who can be trusted in crisis situations. They view you as emotionally mature and psychologically strong. They start coming to you for advice because they know you'll respond thoughtfully rather than reactively. The practice involves creating space between stimulus and response. When something triggers an emotional reaction, pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, what response would serve me and others best right now? This brief pause often prevents regrettable reactions and allows for more thoughtful responses. Emotional regulation also means not taking things personally. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that other people's actions reflect their character, not yours. When someone is rude, critical, or unkind, their behavior reveals something about their internal state, not your worth. This perspective allows you to respond with compassion rather than defensiveness. Practice this by paying attention to your emotional triggers. What situations typically cause you to react impulsively? Work stress, family dynamics, social criticism. Once you identify these patterns, you can prepare strategies for responding more thoughtfully. Chapter 5. The Dignity of Hard Work. The fifth path to silent respect is through the dignity of hard work performed without fanfare. The Stoics believed in the virtue of industriousness, not work for work's sake, but dedicated effort toward meaningful goals. When people observe your commitment to excellence, even when no one is watching, they naturally develop respect for your character. This isn't about being a workaholic or sacrificing your well-being for productivity. It's about approaching your responsibilities with integrity, giving your best effort regardless of external recognition, and taking pride in quality work for its own sake. People notice those who consistently deliver excellent results without seeking constant praise or acknowledgement. They respect individuals who take initiative, solve problems quietly, and contribute to the collective good without making a show of their efforts. The dignity of hard work is demonstrated in small, daily choices. Staying late to ensure a project is done correctly. Taking time to mentor a struggling colleague. Cleaning up after yourself and others without being asked. These actions might seem insignificant individually, but collectively they build a reputation for reliability and character. Seneca wrote about the importance of being useful to others through our work and contributions. When your efforts serve a purpose beyond personal gain, when you're contributing to something larger than yourself, people recognize this nobility and respond with respect. This principle applies regardless of your role or position. Whether you're a student, employee, parent, or leader, approaching your responsibilities with dedication and integrity commands respect. The janitor who takes pride in maintaining a clean environment earns as much respect as the CEO who takes pride in ethical leadership. The key is focusing on the work itself rather than the recognition it might bring. When you're motivated by internal standards of excellence rather than external validation, your efforts have a different quality that people can sense. This intrinsic motivation appears more genuine and trustworthy than work performed purely for praise or advancement. Chapter 6. The Wisdom of Boundaries. The sixth way to command respect silently is through the establishment and maintenance of healthy boundaries. The Stoics understood that wisdom includes knowing when to say no, when to step back, and when to protect your time, energy, and values from those who would exploit them. Boundaries aren't walls built out of fear or hostility. They're conscious choices about how you want to live and what you will and won't tolerate. People respect those who respect themselves enough to set limits, and they often test those who appear to have none. Consider the difference between someone who agrees to every request, works excessive hours, and never stands up for themselves versus someone who is helpful and generous within clear limits. The first person might initially seem more accommodating, but over time, people begin to take them for granted. The second person earns respect because they demonstrate self-worth and clear values. Healthy boundaries might include saying no to requests that compromise your values, limiting your availability during personal time, or refusing to engage in gossip or negative conversations. These choices communicate that you have standards and won't compromise them for temporary convenience or approval. The Stoic practice of focusing on what's within your control naturally leads to healthy boundaries. You can control your choices, responses, and commitments, but you cannot control others' reactions to your boundaries. When you accept this reality, you can set limits without anxiety about others' approval. Setting boundaries also means being honest about your capacity and limitations. If you're overwhelmed with commitments, saying no to additional requests isn't selfish, it's responsible. If you don't have expertise in a particular area, admitting this shows integrity rather than weakness. The most respected people are those who help others generously while maintaining their own well-being and standards. They give from abundance rather than depletion, which makes their contributions more valuable and sustainable. Practice this by identifying areas where you currently lack boundaries. Are you constantly available to others at the expense of your own needs? Do you agree to things that compromise your values? Start small by setting one clear boundary and maintaining it consistently. Chapter 7. The strength of vulnerability. The seventh path to commanding respect is through the paradoxical strength of vulnerability. This might seem counterintuitive. How can showing vulnerability command respect? The answer lies in understanding that true strength includes the courage to be authentic, to admit mistakes, and to ask for help when needed. The Stoics weren't advocates for emotional suppression, despite common misconceptions. They believed in acknowledging reality honestly, including their own limitations and mistakes. Marcus Aurelius regularly wrote about his own flaws and struggles, showing that wisdom includes humble self-awareness. When you can admit you don't know something, people trust your claims of knowledge more. When you can acknowledge your mistakes, people believe your claims of success more. When you can show genuine emotion appropriately, people trust your strength more. This counterintuitive dynamic occurs because vulnerability demonstrates confidence. You're secure enough in yourself to be honest about your imperfections. This doesn't mean oversharing or using vulnerability as a manipulation tactic. Appropriate vulnerability is strategic and purposeful. It's sharing struggles that others can relate to, admitting mistakes that show growth, or asking for help in areas where others can contribute. Leaders who can say, "I was wrong," or "I need help," without their authority being diminished, are rare and respected. They create environments where others feel safe to be honest about their own limitations and mistakes, leading to better problem-solving and stronger relationships. The practice involves gradually becoming more comfortable with appropriate honesty about your experiences and limitations. This might mean admitting when you're struggling, asking questions when you don't understand, or sharing failures that led to growth. Chapter 8. The power of service. The eighth and final way to command respect silently is through genuine service to others. The Stoics believed that we are all part of a larger community and that our highest purpose is to contribute to the common good. When you consistently serve others without expecting recognition or reciprocation, you naturally earn deep respect. This service doesn't require grand gestures or public recognition. It's found in small, consistent acts of helpfulness, kindness, and support. Helping a colleague with a difficult project, volunteering your time for causes you believe in, offering encouragement to someone who's struggling. These actions build a reputation for generosity and character. The key is that this service must be genuine, motivated by care for others rather than desire for recognition. People can sense the difference between authentic generosity and strategic kindness. Authentic service has a quality that touches others deeply and inspires respect and admiration. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What brings no benefit to the hive brings none to the bee." This wisdom suggests that when we serve the collective good, we ultimately serve ourselves as well. The respect we earn through service enhances our own well-being and creates positive relationships that enrich our lives. Service also develops our character. When we regularly put others' needs before our own convenience, we grow in patience, compassion, and wisdom. These qualities are attractive and respected by others. The practice begins with looking for small opportunities to help others without being asked. Pay attention to colleagues who seem overwhelmed, neighbors who might need assistance, or community organizations that could use volunteers. Start small and gradually expand your service as it becomes a natural part of who you are. Conclusion: the integration of silent authority. These 8 principles: strategic silence, unshakable consistency, authentic self-knowledge, emotional regulation, dignified work, healthy boundaries, appropriate vulnerability, and genuine service, work together to create what we might call silent authority. This is the quality possessed by individuals who command respect, not through force, manipulation, or self-promotion, but through the magnetic power of their character. The beauty of this approach is that it creates sustainable respect. Unlike authority based on position, wealth, or intimidation, respect earned through character grows stronger over time and doesn't disappear when circumstances change. The Stoic philosophers understood that true power comes from within. When you develop these qualities, you become someone others naturally want to follow, consult, and emulate. You don't need to demand respect because your character commands it automatically. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. Like all aspects of Stoic practice, it requires patience, consistency, and commitment to growth. There will be setbacks and challenges. You'll sometimes fall short of your own standards. But each effort to embody these principles strengthens your character and enhances the respect you naturally command. Remember that the goal isn't to manipulate others into respecting you. The goal is to become the kind of person who deserves respect through the quality of their character and the positive impact of their presence in the world. As you implement these principles, you'll likely notice that the respect you receive becomes deeper and more genuine. People will seek your advice, trust your judgment, and value your presence not because of what you can do for them, but because of who you are. Start today with one principle that resonates most strongly with you. Perhaps it's practicing strategic silence in your next difficult conversation, or setting a boundary you've been avoiding, or looking for an opportunity to serve someone without recognition. Small, consistent steps in the direction of these principles will gradually transform how others see you and how you see yourself. The path to silent authority is not about becoming someone different. It's about becoming more fully who you already are at your best. The Stoics believed that we all have the potential for wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. These 8 principles simply provide a framework for expressing these virtues in ways that naturally command respect and create positive influence in the world. In a world full of noise, posturing, and artificial attempts to gain respect, the person who embodies these principles stands out like a beacon of authentic strength. This is the kind of respect worth having, not because you demanded it, but because you earned it through the quiet power of excellent character. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." The same is true of respect. Everything you need to command genuine respect already exists within you. These principles simply help you express it more fully and consistently. The journey towards silent authority is ultimately a journey toward becoming your best self. And there is no more worthy pursuit than that.